Now, listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That was the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Max World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
It's 3:06 on the 21st day of November in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and we are back in the saddle again, once again on a Monday here in Max World Live. Got a great show for you today, 2 different segments. In the 4 o'clock hour, you're going to learn about a ministry out of Minneapolis that focuses on, guess what? The family. It's a husband and wife who absolutely, from everything I can tell, has been able to tap into families all across the country and figure out ways to help them walk through the most difficult of times. Don DeWay will be in studio, and the Jacksons, no, not those Jacksons, the other Jacksons, will be here live in Max World. In the first hour, let me tell you how this came about. Jebediah, give me a little more microphone, would you please? Let me tell you how this came about. So, over the weekend, I watched TV. I haven't been watching a lot of TV for the last 2 or 3 months. I don't know why. I just haven't been. But this weekend was kind of a crash weekend. Had a fire in the fireplace on Friday night, and the cold Friday night. And then just kind of hung around the house and got some work done with the dogs. And I paid more attention to the news. And I recognized that there are protests in almost every city across this country protesting the election of Donald Trump as president of the United States. And I don't know about you, but I don't get that. I mean, you know, maybe I know I'm not the brightest bulb in the bunch, but I just don't understand. So what do I do when I don't understand? I call on people that can educate me. And I have 3 people that are going to help me do that today. First is Jared Krause, and Jared, joins us from Iowa City, Iowa. How are you, Jared?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mac?
Good. Thank you for being on the radio today. Also, we have Heather Ryan and Heaven Chamberlain. And Heaven promises me that's the name on her birth certificate. So what a wonderful name. You ever get any grief about that?
The pickup lines are the absolute worst thing in the world.
Really? Like what?
I want to spend 7 minutes in heaven.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. Jared, do you have a better one than that for her?
No, I don't think you should use pickup lines.
Oh, maybe you're kind of boy.
Hey.
Doesn't use pickup lines.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, and so Heather and Heaven and Jared are all Trump protesters. Is that a fair thing to say, or how would you classify?
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, we're more to that, but that is certainly the sign of our times, yes.
Okay. And Jared, would you also just agree with that? Yep. Okay. Trump protester. All right, Jared, you're on the phone, so I'm going to start with you. Tell me why you have been so vocal in social media, active on the streets, everything that you can to protest. And if there's another word you want to use, that's fine. Protest the election of Donald Trump as the next president of the United States.
Well, there's a couple layers to my answer, and on the surface is what everybody else sees going on in this country and the way that they interpret the words and actions of Donald Trump and his transition team. There's also the way that they interpret people like me, Heather, and Heaven's actions in the streets and on social media. And then there's the way that people like me, Heather, and Heaven would talk if it was just the 3 of us. And outwardly, I'm kind of flabbergasted that everybody around me isn't remembering the old quip that drunk words are sober thoughts, and so sober words seem to be even more sober actions by our president-elect. And I don't think that we should be taking anything he says or does lightly, or anybody that he appoints to positions of power lightly, and we especially shouldn't be taking lightly the conflicts of interest that he has as president and maintaining business relationship or having his children involved in his business and politics. And that just is scratching the surface, because what I'm most afraid about is not for myself, but for my friends that already are classified by him as people that need to be watched more carefully for fear of actions by them. And that kind of rhetoric is some of the most dangerous rhetoric I've ever heard by, quite frankly, is going to be one of the most powerful men in the entire world. And that just really scares me. So I want to get as many people aware of this to get them willing to keep him accountable. If you voted for Trump even questionably, then you more than me should be watching everything that he does and everything he says and who he appoints, because we as a country are responsible for how he acts and what he makes our country do. And I'm not willing to let him tarnish it.
All right, so I've got down 3 points, I think, that you said. Number one is his words and actions. Mm-hmm. Number two, his business dealings and his family's business dealing in politics and business.
Conflicts of interest.
All right, and then third, what
potential threat to people of minorities, LGBTQ, immigrants, the rest of the world through our military, through his economic policies. You name it.
All right. Let me ask you this, Jared. Was there a Republican presidential candidate that you would have felt better about?
I don't think I could really enter into a conversation with the idea of better about, just because, I voted for Hillary Clinton reluctantly, and Bernie Sanders I criticized even though I campaigned openly for him. Our politicians aren't somebody that we should be following blindly.
All right, so what I hear you saying is that the fact that Mr. Trump has an R behind his name is probably 51% of your problem with him.
No, I would say the majority of my problem with him is the real fear of him assuming any sort of autocratic or dictatorial power and utilizing that to cause serious physical and economic harm on families and individuals in America and outside of America.
So you must have really despised Barack Obama, because he was the number one guy at doing exactly that.
You should scroll through my Facebook feed. You'll find plenty of posts of me criticizing him killing, an American citizen in Yemen, even if he was openly a member of Al-Qaeda. You'll see me criticizing him bombing Yemen, using drones, or supporting Israel attacking Gaza or Palestine. Point out a president in the world, and I'll tell you what my problems are with the things that they're doing to the people that actually live and have to deal with their decisions.
All right, but Bernie Sanders would have been your choice if you could have.
Of the mainstream politicians that we talked about, yeah. Otherwise, I would like to see a more direct style of democracy that involves more millennials, quite frankly, and starts making more of a demand on everyday citizens to participate in how their government is run.
Our guest on the phone is Jared Krause. He lives in Iowa City, Iowa, and he defines himself as a Trump protester.
Hey, Jared, we had a fair and free election in this country, and to my knowledge, the working class come out and said, we're tired of carrying the weight for everybody and everything. What's your thoughts about that? That was kind of the Bernie Sanders message, that the working class is getting hosed, and that was a little bit Trump's message, was the working class was getting hosed. And Hillary lost the white working class blue collar worker in droves. Mm-hmm. Yes, so how do you explain that?
Well, I don't know how to explain Hillary not getting the votes, but I can tell you what my thoughts are on both Bernie and Trump having a similar message for blue-collar workers. And that is that virtue, Plato or Aristotle, whoever you want to look up, says that is not an act but a habit. And if I look at the history of actions by Trump or Bernie in relation to the blue-collar working class of America, well, Bernie wins that. And so, going back to words being followed by actions, Bernie's had a pretty consistent message. And while I can criticize him for not being openly critical of the Israeli occupation, I can't really criticize him for not openly participating in the blue-collar struggle to have a fair pay and be able to support people's families and have good transitions into new types of industries like our coal country. They need help to transition out of that industry and into a newer technology where they can still sustain themselves. I mean, this is where people live, and people want to stay where they live. We should be helping them, not making life harder and creating divisions by making it all seem like a zero-sum game when it isn't.
Our guest on the phone is Jared Krause. He hails from Iowa City, Iowa, and he classifies himself as a Trump protester. We also have Heather Ryan and her daughter, Heaven Chamberlain, also both calling themselves Trump protesters or labeling yourself that way. Or I want to be fair. What is that? Is that okay to say it that way?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, all right. All right, we're going to take our first break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to ask the same questions of Heather and Heaven and see what their answers are. And we're trying to understand today. I think I said earlier in the segment that I watched more TV than I usually watch this weekend, and when I'm watching more TV, it's usually bouncing around between 4 or 5 news channels. I don't have a favorite, and Fox would not be my favorite, just so you know. Everybody thinks that if you're at all okay with Donald Trump as president, then you must be a Fox watcher. And I think Fox is almost as bad as CNN, but there's nothing worse than NBC. That was fun to watch the Sunday morning shows after I taped them because I was in church all Sunday morning, and man, they're vicious. All right. We're going to talk about that later on in the 4 o'clock hour. Don DeWay from the Prophet Zone is in, and we'll be talking about families. Yeah, yours, mine, and ours. It's coming up live here in Mac's World on 99.3 FM. We call it The Truth.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21 in the afternoon on the 21st day of November in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy. Welcome to the afternoon edition of Max World Live. I want to thank Frank and Bob and Tom Coates and Chris Roloff for doing a great job filling in last week as I just took some vacation time. I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere. I sat around the house, unpacked some more boxes, played with the puppies. What did I do? Anything? I just hung. I drove by your house one day, Frank.
Did you?
Yeah. The palatial mansion of the Thomases over in Des Moines. And spent Sunday in church from about 6:30 to 12:30. So it was a good weekend for Mac. I feel energized, and we'll be here with you all week long. The program on Thursday will be pre-recorded, one of our best of. And then, Frank, are you going to do the show on Friday? You better check with your producer to see if he's even around.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
You don't sound too excited.
Well, I just found out about it about 5 minutes ago.
And that doesn't excite you? I could let Heather and Heaven come in and do the show on Friday.
We will totally do the show for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See?
You are hooked up on Friday. You can go shopping, go out to Target.
Oh, yeah. Frank's a big Black Friday guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go out to Staples, get some new stuff. We'll cover for you.
Did you see the store that opened up over the weekend? This container store?
No, but I'm familiar with the Container Store. I didn't know we had one here. Now, yay, excited.
Yeah, Mills Civic. Well, seriously, have we really gotten to the point in America where we have a? I'll bet you it's 18,000 square feet.
That's amazing.
And it's boxes.
I would love 18,000 square foot of stuff that I can put my stuff in. That'd be awesome.
But if you need to put your stuff in something, then you really don't need the stuff, do you?
Well, I need to keep my stuff nice by putting my stuff inside of stuff.
But if you're never going to use the stuff before, why do you need to put the stuff in the boxes?
That sounds like an old George Carlin bit.
I know it does, doesn't it?
You have a bigger house, so you can get bigger stuff, more stuff.
She needs somewhere to put her Tupperware so she can put more stuff
put my
inside the stuff
Tupperware
inside the
the
stuff.
containers. That'd
So
be
you put the
awesome.
Tupperware inside the Tupperware so you can...
It's like a dream come true.
All right.
I'm not big on West Des Moines shopping, but I will go out there just to see.
Yeah, it's right on Mill Civic Parkway,
Heading
right there
after
by
this show.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I guess one of the big deals is colors. You've got like red and green for Christmas, and then you have pink for Easter, and you have blue for when boys are born, and I don't know. I haven't been there yet, but I will probably go just so I can say I've been there. All right, my guest today, I've got Jared Krause on the phone. He's live from Iowa City. Heather Ryan is in the studio, and daughter Heaven Chamberlain. And these three people are all Trump protesters. And after taking the week off last week and watching a lot more television than I normally watch, it was fun. I just didn't do nothing, honey. I couldn't believe the number of Trump protests going on. I don't get it. And I genuinely don't get it. So what do you do when you don't get it? You ask the horse's mouth. You go straight to the horse's mouth, pardon me. And Heather and Heaven and Jared are all Trump protesters, and we're trying to figure out why. So, Heaven, I'm going to go to you next. You're 21 years old, so you voted.
Yes.
Who'd you vote for?
Secretary Clinton.
Secretary Clinton, okay. And would there have been any Republican candidate that ran, the 16 people that ran, that you would have been okay with?
Well, I wouldn't have voted for them, but I'd be okay with Chris Christie or Jeb Bush because they're not as nearly terrifying or misogynist as Donald Trump.
All right, tell me why Donald Trump is, what do you say, terrifying?
Well, first of all, he has xenophobic comments. He brags about sexually assaulting women. and he explains it off.
You're talking about the tape from 17 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could have been yesterday. Wouldn't have mattered. It's still a tape.
It really couldn't. He still has the same views. He still uses derogatory terms about female genitals. He still thinks that he can grab a woman. That's what frightens me, is that we now have this in office. And now I am afraid to go out at night because I do not know if this has motivated his base to grab women. I know it has motivated his base to harass Muslim women and rip off their hijabs. I know it has caused his base to chase down black Americans and calling them the N-word and lynch them and beat them up. That is happening, and he has caused this with his fear-mongering. And it's terrifying. I'm scared for the next 4 years.
So you Heaven, just excuse me for a second. You can actually give me a website where I could go and a Trump protester has been found to beat up on black people because of the color of their skin?
Trump supporters, yes. It has happened all over the country. The ACLU has reported that over 400 hate crimes have happened since the election.
Are you including the cops that were shot and killed as hate crimes?
Which incident? There's a lot of incidents going on right now.
We digress.
We had 4 cops over the weekend.
I know. I think we're digressing, though. That
yeah.
We're still talking about Donald Trump, and I don't know that necessarily.
Yeah,
has
I don't
to do
know
with
how
Donald
that
Trump.
relates to this.
Let me tell you how it relates to it, because you're telling me that Trump supporters are doing these things.
Yeah, a Trump supporter shot the 2 police officers here in Des Moines.
You're the first person to tell me he was a Trump supporter.
He had a huge Trump sign in his yard. How much more of a supporter do you need to be?
And so if I've got a sign in my yard...
Yeah, I would think it's safe to say you're a Trump supporter.
Yeah, and he literally waved a Confederate flag. He waved the stars and bars in front of an African American, in front of African Americans,
trying to incite violence.
Yeah, and then he tried to claim that they beat him up. But if you're going to wave a flag that promotes slavery in front of an African American, what do you expect? And I believe that is what the police officer said at Valley High.
Frank, would you hold on? I want to ask you a question. Will you explain to Heaven, please, what the Confederate flag is representing? Because it's not representing slavery.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear this.
Well, are you convinced in your mind, have you been taught in school that the Civil War was over slavery?
I have been taught many things. I did live in Kentucky for 3 years, and it was taught as the war between the states and protection of the 10th Amendment. But it was over slavery.
Okay.
I have received education in both the North and the South.
Abraham Lincoln wrote a letter to a man named Horace Greeley in like 1862, 3 years prior to the Civil War, in which Abraham Lincoln stated himself that he was not willing to lose one soldier in the fight over slavery. The Civil War was always over one thing, and one thing only: preservation of the Union.
Okay, we're still digressing.
Yeah, I thought we were talking
about Donald
because
Trump.
you're factually, historically wrong.
That's not
I
actually
think
accurate.
what they mean by you're digressing is that we don't need to be debating what the meaning of Confederate flag
Correct.
is specifically, because colloquially, or at least across the nation, we know that if you're waving a Confederate flag in a black person's face, that you're probably a racist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking about how Donald Trump is a misogynist and how he has bragged about assaulting women and how he's yet to apologize.
Let me ask a question in this. You're a Hillary supporter. And Hillary
we were reluctant Hillary support.
Yeah,
Hillary is supported by the Hollywood industry, the music industry, the TV industry, and the video game industry. There is more vile things said by that industry than anything Donald Trump has said. And if Donald Trump was a
100%.
Democrat, your side would pin a Medal of Honor on him, a badge of honor.
No, since he didn't serve in the military, we would not pin a Medal of Honor on him because he did dodge the draft. And as a veteran, I am personally offended by that. I don't mean to be stepping on your toes, Heaven. I know that this was your moment to talk about why Donald Trump is frightening. But we're getting so far off topic by talking about the history of the Confederate flag, knowing full well that the Confederate flag represents something that is offensive to African Americans and people of color.
We're not getting off topic if I ask about it. Okay, so please don't do this. We're off topic. We're digressing. When your daughter brought up the fact that a Trump supporter can wave a Confederate flag because he's against black people, that needs to be addressed because that's absolutely incorrect. It is a narrative. It is a narrative that the low information voters used to try to make Trump look worse.
We disagree.
When we lived in Kentucky, there was this event called Tater Day, and it was literally a celebration of when the farmers would bring their potatoes into the market to sell them in town. And during Tater Day, you literally had men riding around in the back of their pickup truck waving a Confederate flag, and they were white. And if you were a black man, woman, child, you did not go out because you would get lynched. The lynching of African American people
in 2016.
Yes,
It still happens.
Yes,
There's
this
still
was
a
in
KKK.
2008. This has been going
still
on.
active. I don't know where the media is, but this is still active.
But yeah, back to your question about the music industry and the video games industry saying vile things. They're not running for president.
But their
That's the big
money
thing.
supports Hillary, the candidate.
Who ran for president, who isn't
And
assaulting
she has
women.
not distanced.
If you're going to use that kind of criteria, then money from Wall
But we
Street.
openly criticize Hillary for these things. Like, we don't hear Trump supporters openly criticizing him for really anything. We hear rationalization for what he does and says.
Okay, you guys do realize that Hillary Clinton supported her husband and covered for his picadillos, his assaults against women, and attacked those women viciously. You know that.
Where did you get that information from? No, that's propaganda put on by the right wing. The majority of the information that is out on the
And
internet
what
is
you're
propaganda.
bringing out is propaganda of the left wing. At what point does your peaceful protest infringe upon my right to drive my car down the road? You're interfering with my commerce. You're interfering with my ability to drive down the street. There's Trump people that's being pulled out of their cars in Chicago and
No,
beaten.
there isn't.
Yes, there was. There was videos of it. The guy sideswiped.
Is protected by the First Amendment.
Yeah,
Your commerce to go buy the things at Target that you need on Black Friday.
What if I have to get medicine for my mother? What happens if I have an emergency to get
So
through
you're-
traffic?
again,
How do
you're
I
looking at
how do I
something that has
navigate
been-
through that?
So again, you're looking at some propaganda that has been spewed off by the right wing
So
and
what
has
is
been
burning?
disproved
What's burning
by Snopes.
police cars? What is looting? What is smashing windows? What is starting fires?
We are not doing any of that.
No, I know.
we're
I didn't
completely
say
digressing
you were.
off the topic.
But there's people who are supporting your team that is
And
out
there's people that are
anarchy.
supporting your team that are going around beating people
Yeah,
up.
the ones that Hillary Clinton paid to come and disrupt Trump protests.
Again, this has been disproved by Snopes, who I think are the only people
Snopes
that are
is a left-wing liberal
No, they're
rag.
not. They
They're
are
an apologist left-wing rag.
independent, and they're so just.
Can I ask everybody a question?
Yeah, let me just identify the characters here. Heather Ryan and her daughter Heaven Chamberlain. They are here. They define themselves as Trump protesters. And the gentleman on the phone is Jared Krause. He is also a Trump protester. He hails from Iowa City, Iowa. Go ahead, Jared.
So the question that I have for everybody, and I want you guys to really consider it before you answer it, because everybody has been talking about this a lot. But in all seriousness, can you think of any benefit for there being a demand for the public to register Muslims? Can you think of any serious benefit to any town, to any school, to any classroom, to any job, to any relationship between any two people where somebody had to question whether or not this person is a Muslim? And if they are they on that registry, or should I go let the police know that here is an unregistered Muslim? Can you think of any serious benefit to that situation occurring in America in 2016?
Jared, where are we registering Muslims?
I'm not saying that we are. I'm saying that there's been an open discussion by Trump and his cabinet and members of his transition team to do just such a thing, right?
Okay, so it hasn't been done yet.
No, it hasn't been done yet.
Okay.
But like I was saying earlier, words that are backed up by actions are dangerous, and he has been consistently saying this, as has his team, and that's why I am protesting Trump, so that you are having a conversation with me right now to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because I think both of us can agree that public registration of any person based on a religion is pretty darn scary, especially for America, especially when we think about the way that we demonize Nazi Germany or any other sort of situation, Soviet Russia, or, you know, we can go on and talk about different situations in history, but like...
All right, Jared, thanks for holding up there. The music starts, so we go into our second break. We are live here with Heather Ryan and Heaven Chamberlain and Jared Krause, all identifying themselves as Trump protesters, because I just want to find out why. I think I'm finding out. We're coming back live. It's your voice I want to hear. You can text us at the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3:38, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And next hour, family. Families. A husband and wife who are family counselors. They have a ministry that works around family counseling. And they're going to be on the phone live from Minneapolis. Don DeWay will be in studio. Today I have 3 guests. Jared Krause is on the phone, hailing from Iowa City, Iowa. Heather Ryan and Heaven Chamberlain are here. And all 3 of these folks consider themselves Trump protesters. And so I'm trying to go through a list because I'm trying to understand why they're protesting them. Now, I probably didn't ask you the right questions. I'm sorry. I wanted 3 things from you, Heaven, that talked about why you have a problem with Donald Trump. 1, you said he was terrifying. 2, you said he was a female misogynist. Or not female, he was a misogynist. And what was the 3rd one?
He has promoted this idea that it's us versus them. So he has singled out Muslim Americans and just Muslim religion in general to make it seem like they're terrorists and they're vicious and they're going to bomb us all. And that's not right. There are women being attacked in the street for wearing their hijab, for wearing their niqab, for wearing their burqa. And he treats it like these women are carrying bombs, and they're not. And there have been hate crimes reported.
Didn't that one woman in, where was that woman?
San Bernardino
husband. Yeah, she was a Muslim and she was a terrorist.
So you're taking one instance out of out of billions of Muslims. Less than 1% of Muslims are terrorists. It's the same as equating.
It's actually 10%.
No, it's the same as equating Westboro Baptist Church as a representation of the entire Christian faith.
Right. Do you do that?
No.
Okay. Heather, I need your three, please.
I have totally different reasons than either of my
Well, that's good.
comrades, I guess. I have a little girl, so I have to preface it. I have two little girls as well. My 9-year-old woke up in the morning after Trump was elected, and I'll be honest, I was shocked. I was stunned that he won. And she asked me who won, and I'm sure she expected me to say that Hillary Clinton won, but I told her Donald Trump is going to be our next president, and she started to cry.
When he makes my sister cry, it's personal.
And so she said that she was less of a person under him because she's valued less as a human being. Because she's
Who taught her that? Because that's not true.
Donald Trump, with his words, has insinuated on all of his media. And, he's a reality TV star. I get it. He's over the top. He's outrageous. He's crazy. But the things he says makes my little girl think that she is worth less as a human being. And that's one of the reasons why I am taking up arms not taking up arms, but we'll be protesting on the 21st of January, his presidency with the rest of the women in America, March for Women. And we'll be doing it here in Des Moines. But that's my number one reason is because
where did she learn that?
She learned that from the campaign, from all of the media publicity and his words. And, we're obviously very politically active. I do not believe that you can just go around grabbing women by their private areas. And she knew that. She's seen that in all the media relations that
all
he
right,
has
so how
had.
would you like me to that's kind of misogynist, right? Or how do you want me to say that?
I don't know.
That he scares 9-year-old girls?
That's something major. I can tell you when I was 9, I was not afraid of me being less of a person underneath Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan wasn't my favorite guy, but I wasn't frightened that he was going to nuke the world. And I wasn't afraid that I was less of a human being.
Okay, give me another one, please.
Besides my children, I believe...
Yeah, besides that.
Okay, so I believe that he is the least qualified of any president in the history of our country. He has no military experience. He has no government experience. He's never been elected to any office. He actually dodged the draft and is a prior military person. I find it extraordinarily offensive and frightening that he'll be not only have the nuclear codes, but be in charge of our armed services.
And the third one?
My gosh, there's so many.
He's
also
one.
a con artist. He just settled for Trump University. He's a con artist. He is a reality TV star. He knows how to be over the top and outrageous, but he also knows how to con people, and that's part of the reality TV genre.
All right, Jared, I can hear you moving around back there. Did you have something you wanted to add?
I just realized that, in all of this discussion, we still haven't even talked about the climate at all, or his point of view on it, and talking about our future and your children and my children and everybody's children. Like the fact that he doesn't think that climate change is happening blows my mind. I would like him to come to Iowa a week ago. Tuesday it was? It was 70 degrees here? I mean, please. Tell me that when I was...
Who's in charge of the climate, Jared?
I don't think you're asking the right question.
Okay, what question would you have me ask? I'm trying to figure out who controls the climate, and you seem to think it's Donald Trump.
No, I'm not saying that Donald Trump controls the climate. I'm saying that Donald Trump gets to appoint people to the EPA. He gets to use the platform of the President of the United States, which is a huge and important institution in the world, right? He gets to use that as a platform to say, I'm not really so sure that climate change exists, right? In the same way that he talks about women, and then that's going to impact, like, my 7-year-old
Go back to climate. I want to stick with climate for just a second.
I would also like to put an
Heaven,
input
hold
when
on.
he's done.
No, go ahead.
So, climate. What I'm trying to figure out is how one human being or a million human beings can impact the climate.
Well, kind of like we still say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, right? We still remember that. Why? Because JFK was a persuasive son of a gun, and he was the president of the United States. We still remember that Obama, or the Arab world still remembers that Obama in 2009 stood in Cairo and said that America does not hate Islam. America does not hate Muslims. We want democracy and freedom for everybody, right? And that revolutionized the relationship of millennials to Obama until he didn't support them during the Arab Spring. The institution of the presidency has a lot of power, and he's going around saying things about women, saying things about the climate, saying things about Muslims, about LGBTQ. That has a lot of impact on how people interpret reality around them and what they think is okay to do or to say to people. And that's extremely dangerous.
All right, Frank.
Hey, Jared, you brought up JFK. I wonder how many women JFK grabbed without permission. But
probably a lot.
Here's my question. Here's my question. I want to get anybody. I want to get anybody to answer.
Wait, hold on, Heaven. You really don't know why that's relevant. You have been going on and on and on about what a misogynist Donald Trump is.
We're talking about a president from 50 years ago.
Yeah, from 50 years ago. No, it's not right that he did that, but yet that does not excuse Donald Trump from doing it.
Okay, here's my question
And the point that the reason I brought JFK up is to demonstrate that words have power, and especially when they're coming from the president, because they stay in our language for a long time. Been more than 50 years, and that is still common phrase.
Heather just ripped Donald Trump for dodging the draft, but I'm sure Heather voted for Bill Clinton twice. But here's my question I got for you guys.
And y'all gave him a hard time the entire time.
Here's the question I got for you guys. Our FBI, our CIA, our intelligence agencies know there is sleeper cells in the country that we are tracking. We know that there is terrorist people here who are wanting to do us ill. What would you do with those people that we know the FBI has under surveillance? The Sarnoff brothers were under surveillance. The San Bernardino people were under surveillance. These other people, the last terrorist attack was under surveillance. What do we do about these people? Do we just wait till they do something? Or do we preemptively try to stop them from their plots against our country?
I don't think I need to come up with a framework for our entire national law enforcement.
No, but you want to rip Trump for his.
Well, yeah, that's my role. I'm a private citizen, and he's an elected official. My job is to pay attention to what he does and make sure that what he does falls within what I think our country expects of its leadership, or at least what I expect of the leadership in our country. Like, I don't need to come up with a full framework of the institution. You asking me that question is kind of a ridiculous question. I mean, like...
No, it's really a very good question. It really is a very good question.
Why? Why would he have to be? He's not the president. Why would he have to be an expert on?
And also, can we go back to climate change? We have completely digressed from the issue that Jared brought up, and I would like to give an input on
Listen,
that.
you brought up the original point that he's scaring people, that Muslims are scared they're going to have to go home. But we know we have people here in the country.
What does that even mean?
Where are you talking about? Are you talking about Bosnia? Are you talking about Syria? Are you talking about... Yeah, a lot of these are Arab Americans who were born here. Where are they going to go?
Here. What do you want to do with the Muslims that we know are here that are out to do our country ill will? What do you want to do with them?
What do you want to do with the Christians?
Hold on. That was.
I want to do with them whatever our law enforcement does with the white militias in the South. I want to do with them whatever we do with.
Okay, Jared, I got to get you to hold. We're coming up on break. We'll come back in 2 minutes. Last segment live. Next hour, families. Here in Mac's World.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coach with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for the opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then Jim Jackson, his wife's named Lynn. I don't know if Lynn will be on the phone with him or not. He has an organization out of Minneapolis, called ConnectedFamilies.com. And he works within families to try to solve some of the dysfunctionality that comes with so many families. All right, Jared Krause is on the phone with us. He's live from Iowa City, Iowa. Heaven Chamberlain and her mother, Heather Ryan, are in studio. And these three people call themselves Trump protesters. And some of the reasons why is that he's terrifying. He's a misogynist. He has an us versus them mentality. He's a con artist. He's the least qualified person ever in the entire history of the presidency to hold the office. He scares 9-year-old girls. His words and his actions can be dangerous. His family and politics and business is a conflict of interest. And flags of, he flags immigrants and LGBT and things like that as people we need to pay attention to.
If I may, I want to go back to the climate issue. The reason why he is so dangerous with this is because he's a denier. And by denying it, he's breaking these peace accords or these environmental accords. We have agreements with France, with Germany, with China to cut our carbon emission and to do our best to filter out the carbon. And by saying climate change isn't real, he negates those treaties, and it makes it much harder to mitigate the effects of climate change. Because climate change has happened. There's no reversing it. We have to mitigate it, and it's going to affect thousands upon millions.
Heaven, do you know who's in charge of climate? Nobody's given me an answer yet. I've asked this. Do any three of you know who's in charge of the climate?
We are in charge of the climate as a collective whole.
Pollution.
Yeah, we're in charge of the pollution.
Changes the climate.
But the reason why Donald Trump is so dangerous, and I'm quoting verbatim, this is one way to help mitigate the effects of climate change is renewable energy. And I'm quoting verbatim, wind turbines kill all the birds. Iowa makes a lot of wind turbines down in Newton. Ever since Maytag left there, wind turbine production has been crucial to the Newton economy. And Donald Trump essentially said that that's unimportant. By saying that, he's denying renewable energy, which is a huge part of reducing carbon emissions from fossil fuel.
All right. Frank?
Let me give you one of Ed Fallon's great causes is a pipeline across Iowa, the pipeline that's pipelining the oil out of the tar sands in Canada. Okay. One of your comrades on the left, Warren Buffett, has funded to be anti the pipeline. But did you guys know that Warren Buffett owns the railroads that is going to railroad car that oil out of Canada? The oil is going to be used. The oil's coming out of Canada. Warren Buffett's only angle on it is don't put it through the pipeline because I want to ship it on my railroad. So if you're sitting there arguing about climate and one of your own teammates is torpedoing
Warren
your
Buffett
efforts.
Also owns part of Burger King, and I don't eat there either because they don't pay American taxes. I'm not going to believe in every single thing that my people on my side believe in, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have legitimacy. There still shouldn't be a pipeline. There still shouldn't be somebody that's a denier of climate in the White House.
And railroads are infinitely more safe than a pipeline. With a pipeline, you have they can burst and then they can cause billions of dollars of damage.
What about the 60 million people that voted for Donald Trump?
What about the over 62 million people that voted for Secretary Clinton?
We're in a 50-50 country.
Not
50% of the people don't like what you say, and 50% of the people don't like what I say.
I'd say more around 50.5% like what I say.
But in this country, we have an election, a free and fair election where people can vote.
No, I would not say the Electoral College is free and fair.
Oh, so it's rigged.
The Electoral College?
So Donald Trump's right, it's rigged.
Yes,
Electoral College is absolutely not a fair system.
It was created by the founding fathers who were terrified for their country, and we had an uneducated populace. But ever since the 1950s, we have had a very educated populace. Of course, we're still abysmal compared to the rest of the world, but yet we are smarter than we've ever been before. And I'm pretty sure, actually, I know for a fact that we do not need the Electoral College. If you're a Democrat in Texas and you go to vote for Secretary Clinton, you might as well not even vote because your vote doesn't matter because of the Electoral College. And it's the same in California. If you're a Republican in California, don't even bother voting for Trump because it's not going to matter. Those votes are mitigated by the Electoral College.
Heather, if Hillary Clinton had won, are you okay with the Electoral College then? Was it fair?
Well, if Hillary Clinton had won the Electoral College and the popular vote, then it would have been fair. I mean, the ones that are getting hurt by the popular vote not being counted are consistently Democrats. So it's not had Hillary Clinton won the Electoral College and Donald Trump won the popular vote, oh my gosh, people would be up in arms. Your side would be like, oh, let's take up arms and shoot people because they were
really?
Genuinely.
That's what we'd say.
I genuinely believe.
Can I jump in here for a second?
Yeah.
Sure.
So one thing that I'm kind of hearing in conversation with you guys is this idea, and I think that when I talk with my mom or my dad, I get this feeling as well, and I do think that there is some sort of generational difference between baby boomers and the millennials. And when we start critiquing Trump or Obama or our government at large, we're not critiquing them always with a perfect answer in our back pocket, and we're not critiquing them always just because, like, we support everything the Democrats do or everything the Republicans do, or we're always libertarian. Like, we're much more multifaceted and complex than that. And really, I think what we're arguing for is a country where all of these differences can actually be out loud and accepted without any threat of violence.
Okay, Jared, I agree. How about you guys commit to, you protest all you guys want. I fully support your right to protest, but let's keep it nonviolent. How about that?
And we are. We have.
Been violent.
Yeah, we haven't been violent.
I didn't say the three of you were violent, but
how in the world can we mitigate what everybody else is doing? That isn't. I can't do something about somebody else's actions. I can mitigate what I'm doing.
I can convince the people who will be at the protest or in the march on the 21st.
We are organizing is very peaceful. We're getting our permits. We're making sure all of our ducks in a row. We're doing what we can do to make sure that people realize not everybody in this nation is a racist.
And I support that right for you to do so. That's absolutely an American right. But let's put a foot down on this anarchy and these people who are coming in and infiltrating these protests one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anarchists. I've experienced anarchists during the Occupy Wall Street movement. That's why Occupy Wall Street Des Moines chapter failed.
How about Ferguson, Missouri?
Ferguson, Missouri, you're essentially...
this is a bigger issue on Ferguson, Missouri.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with racism and racial divides and
when there are 3
stereotyping
per household in Ferguson, they've got bigger issues than just what you would call
you would need a lot more hours to discuss that.
Well,
and we're not qualified to discuss that because we are
Friday
white.
And talk about
Ferguson. We would love to.
We should get some Black Lives Matter people up here if you want to talk about Ferguson.
There's a
they'll
lot
actually have
all right, well,
perspective.
Hopefully the three of you will come back sometime and we can continue conversations. I think you're both very entertaining, and Jared, I appreciate you on the phone. And let's before you leave today, let's set another date to come back and continue these conversations.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Jared, thank you very much.
I hope you're coming to our protest on the 21st. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, we got a Facebook event. It's Women's March on Washington, Iowa State Capitol.
All right. You wouldn't have to worry about misogynists and people of immigrants or LGBT or somebody being a con artist or scaring a little 9-year-old. You do know who's in charge, right? Jesus Christ is in charge.
Oh, I thought you were going to say checks and balances because I was going to disagree with that.
Jesus Christ is in charge.
Well,
this
world. One person's view.
That's
one person's view.
I'm not Christian.
I believe that everybody has a right to their beliefs.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's
we're
why
out
we
of
have
here
a separation of church and state.
for today. Next hour, it's Family Matters. Don DeWay's in the house, and we're going to be live on The Truth.